Hello, everyone. We are so happy to welcome Jessica Quesada, who is the Director of Private Events at the Basking Ridge Country Club. And I have worked there numerous times. We are so happy to talk to her because they have a fabulous, fabulous new renovation. And I hope that she's going to talk all about that. They have helped countless couples in their time go from overwhelmed by the New Jersey venue hunt, boy, that's a big one, to ultimately a calm, collaborative planning experience by tapping into her knowledge without making them feel more pressured at a time that most couples are very, very well acquainted with pressure. So I can't wait to talk to you, Jessica. Tell us all about this fabulous new reno because it is gorgeous.
Thank you, ladies. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to have been invited on the podcast. But yes, we did a massive renovation back in 2023 when we were bought out by our current parent company, which is Heritage Golf Group. We're one of uh, many, it's a growing portfolio of clubs around the country. We are one of four here in New Jersey. So Heritage Golf Group owns Basking Ridge Country Club, and then our sister properties are Shackamaxon Country Club, Stanton Ridge, and then the newest one here in Jersey is the Stone Harbor Country Club, which is down the
Oh,
shore.
nice.
Oh,
Andrea, you might be
Yeah,
called hopefully
nice.
sooner rather than later for a Southern Jersey wedding. I know
yeah.
that's your
I
territory.
didn't know
Uh,
that you guys own that too. I just got a
Yeah.
request for a Stone Harbor just the other
Fabulous.
day. I'm hooked
Amazing.
up.
Yes. So that's the newest one here in Jersey to be added to the portfolio.
Oh,
But
so
like I said,
pretty.
it's a
Congratulations.
growing number
Yeah.
of properties. But we were very, very lucky and so appreciative that Heritage Golf Group came in almost immediately after buying the club and spent close to $1 million renovating the venue. So now when couples come in, the first thing that they're hit by, of course, is our phenomenal view. Celia, I'm sure can attest to this. We sit on over 250 acres in the Somerset Hills, and it's a gorgeous location.
It's stunning. Yeah.
Perfect
It's
for the
not
photos, your wedding
it
photos, you know?
is. Yes, definitely. And there's so many great areas around the property for couples to take photos. But that's generally the first thing that, couples and their guests are hit with is the view because the entire back wall of the venue is almost knee to ceiling windows. So even
Yep.
on a gray day, which very much like today, it's very cloudy, very rainy, but you still get this beautiful light throughout the venue. That tends to be one of the biggest things that I find couples, especially recently, have been making note of that they want a venue with light, they want windows, they want the view. And we, like I said, we set on over 250 acres, and the views are phenomenal. But the renovation itself, pretty much every corner of the facility was touched. Very clean, still, very modern, but a little contemporary. And the color palette just suits so many different themes or color schemes that couples want to come in with. And obviously, it's not just weddings that we do,
Mhm.
but we've hosted countless mitzvahs and sweet 16s and baby showers and bridal showers. I mean, we hit every corner of the market. Corporate, what else? Celebrations of life. We kind of do it all. We really run the gamut. Just this past weekend alone, we had a phenomenal end of year celebration for a local organization that focuses on community outreach. So they do a yearly celebration for the seniors that are graduating. We had three showers, two baby showers, one bridal shower. We had a wedding this weekend. So
Right.
coming off of a busy weekend, and we're
Yeah.
getting ready for more.
Yeah. I think what's really nice about your venue is that it really has a very warm and personal feeling to it. Obviously, it's a country club, but there's something that's very like warm and homey about it. While it is sophisticated and beautiful, and that view is like to die for, but there's
Hmm.
something that's just very personal about it.
Well, I mean, I've now been at Basking Ridge Country Club for the better part of coming up on 8 years.
Hmm.
And I I've learned so much over the course of my time there from the different people that I've worked with, obviously the couples and the clients that come in through the door. And as both of you ladies know, the whole wedding industry, the whole events industry is really so focused on hospitality that I want to be able to make the clients that come in, especially if they're still hunting for a venue, like you said earlier, it can get very overwhelming. I mean, you
It
do
is.
a quick Google search just for Basking Ridge, and you get a mile-long list of options. So to me, not only does the location have obviously a big sway when it comes to people making a
Hmm.
decision as to where they want to spend their time and their money, of course, but it's the people that they ultimately work with,
You're
because
absolutely right.
that makes it, I think, a
Yeah.
huge impact on how they want to spend their time with, especially when it comes to weddings. Couples are booking, I mean, with us, I mean, we just booked a wedding for August of this year. Whereas we're also booking obviously, through to the end of 2026. And I'm
Yeah.
already meeting with couples for 2027. And that's a long time to be working with someone on such a huge
Yeah.
project, right? So to me, I think making sure that couples feel comfortable, not only with their decision on where they've decided to have their
Mhm.
wedding or their wedding reception, but I want them to feel comfortable with myself. I want them to feel comfortable, being able to reach out or send a quick email at 2 o'clock in the morning. I get them all the time.
Yeah.
I get, phone calls
Right.
at any time of the day. And to me, it's more about making sure that people feel like they have a level of trust. And to me, that's extremely important. I work very hard to gain clients' trust and keep it. And a lot of times that ends up, bouncing over to post wedding events.
Yeah.
We recently had a couple come in, and they were a 2021 COVID wedding. Originally, they were booked for 2020. So, unfortunately, we did have to postpone because that was a crazy time, obviously, for
Mm.
everybody. And so they came through in 2021, hosted their wedding. And I just met with them last week because they're expecting their first baby. And we're
Oh,
booking their baby shower with us this coming later on this summer. So and
That's
that's happened a
exciting.
number of times. So to see, these these young couples that I met, 4, 5, 6 years ago, even more, and to now see not only their family grow, but I've seen my family grow. So it's a really wonderful way to see people throughout their life when it comes
it's so
to
great.
hospitality.
When people look at reviews and, when I talk to people about where they're going, and so many times they mention that the reason that they went, the final thing that made them pick one place over another was that, we really loved the people there.
Hmm.
And you all are so hands-on there, and there's so many details to weddings and showers and babies, and it's just when I get there and everybody's relaxed because everything is going exactly the way that they figured that you told them it
Hmm.
would, it's priceless because it makes all of the other vendor, it makes everybody else's life much easier on that
Oh
day to
yeah,
fulfill those people's, their vision. I hate the word vision, but it's like they have an idea of how this is going to go, and
absolutely.
none of us can do that. You have the foundation, and once you set that beautiful foundation, and you're very flexible with, using the property and using the settings. If it all of us we're supposed to be on the putting green, and all of a sudden it's like, we're having thunder and lightning.
Hmm.
You're always on top of everything, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I try not to incite panic with couples, I guess specifically brides, when, obviously everyone always thinks, all right, what's plan B? And we always have a plan B. Sometimes
Always. And C.
sometimes there's even a plan C. And, starting to really think about that plan B is necessary. And no one in the industry ever wants to incite panic for their couples. Obviously,
No.
our fingers are always crossed that everything's going to go wonderfully and it's going to be a gorgeous day and it's nothing but sunshine and blue skies. But obviously that doesn't always happen. And I mean, my gosh, one of the very first weddings that I had at Basking Ridge Country Club. So this is probably early 2018 when I got started that spring. And we had it must have been like close to 130, maybe 140 guests. And we were doing an outdoor ceremony. I believe it was maybe around this time of year, early mid-May. And there was zero chance of rain in the forecast because as we all kind of know in this industry, you start tracking weather a few days in advance.
Right.
And none of the
You don't believe any of it.
well, that's the thing. So none of the weather apps said that there was rain in the forecast. And all of a sudden the wind picks up and, gray clouds start coming in. And it's like, okay, let's have a conversation with the couple because they're about to walk down the aisle in the next, I think it was maybe within 30, 40 minutes. And, it also helps, of course, to have couples who are understanding and are flexible even the day of, despite everything that they've built up in their heads. And obviously you want to be supportive of that goal. But of course the safety and the level of dryness for clients and their guests is probably the more important thing. So, within probably 30 minutes, we reset, we brought everything inside. Luckily that day, the vendors, I remember them being extremely helpful. The florist even stuck around because they saw what was potentially coming. So within 30 minutes, we were able to move everything indoors and the skies did open up for about maybe an hour. And by the time guests were halfway through cocktail hour, sunshine was back out, blue skies, and no, you wouldn't have known. But the better part of that story was that the couple was able to get a gorgeous photo with a double rainbow behind them, right?
Wow.
As the skies were opening up. I wish I had that photo still. But it was an awesome day. So having that level of flexibility on all parts is incredibly helpful.
I love the teamwork that went into moving it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yes. I mean, I'm nothing. Basking Ridge Country Club is nothing if not for the staff that we have. And our staff is incredible. And obviously any venue is going to say that because it's the team behind every single venue.
Most of these people at this wedding, first of all, they had a fabulous time and they really kind of thought that was the way that they planned it. And, when I was an off-premise caterer for years, but I always used to tell people that, there's the thing that you plan and there's the thing that happens. And most of the time, your people are going to if you've got a good place and good people, good vendors, good pros, they're not going to know that are they going to really know that color of pink that came in from the rental company is not the pink that you thought for the tablecloths? No,
Right.
They're going to be in a beautiful place. They're going to have great food and wonderful service, and they're just going to have a fabulous time. And
Absolutely.
But it all starts with the venue and the venue staff and how they perceive getting the day across, and you guys do that really masterfully. I love it.
Thank you very much.
Now, I want you to talk a little tiny bit, and this may be something that you still do or maybe not. I've done a couple of weddings that had their wedding on the porch of that cute little house that's on the way in.
Yes, we call it the lawn house. And it's situated right at the front of the property.
It's so cute.
It's adorable. And it's got this beautiful little front lawn. Obviously wonderfully manicured. Our grounds crews do a great job throughout the year. Right now it's just lush and green and it looks fabulous. This past weekend's wedding actually did a a fair amount of photos with the couple and bridal party out there before we got started
So
with
cute.
cocktail hour. And yeah, it's a really sweet little location. We used that space a lot during COVID when we were hosting
I bet.
quite a few elopement ceremonies, but we can also use that space for a micro wedding ceremony. Our micro weddings came out of COVID. The mother of invention is necessity.
Hmm.
And so during COVID, we developed this wonderful micro wedding package, and it's developed a little bit over the years. But the core of it is that it's designed specifically for guest lists that range between 50 to 80 guests. And whether that's because, again, because it became out of COVID, that was just sort of the number that we had to stick
Right.
to based on our capacity. But over the years, like I said, it's developed because it's gained so much popularity. Just this month coming up in May, we have three actually booked for this May. And it's guest lists, like I said, ranging between 50 to 80. I think our largest is right about at that 80 mark. And people love it. It's a great budget friendly option if you're willing to keep the guest list a little bit more intimate.
Hmm.
But just because it's a smaller guest count doesn't mean that you can't still have the feeling or the experience of
Not
an
at all.
elaborate reception.
Not at all.
People can keep it as simple as they like, or they can go all out because, in this, we do happen to live in a state where weddings are very expensive.
Yeah.
And this particular package, because of the pricing and, the amenities that we offer, has become a really great go-to option for couples who want to have the feeling of the big wedding day, but not so much just because it's a large guest list. So it's been a great option for people to look into. And then a lot of times we start off with a micro wedding package, and then over the
Growth.
course of 6 months, seven, maybe even a year later, it's happened where I'll get a call from a client who originally booked with the micro wedding package, and they say, "Oop,
Yeah.
our guest list grew." um, we decided to invite these out of state friends, or we decided to include the work friends that we weren't really sure about, and all of a sudden now they're looking
Right.
at 100 to 130 people, for example. And so then we rework, and our contracts, I call them breathing contracts, because at any time up until your sort of solidified date when things need to be confirmed in regards to menu and bar arrangements and things like that, we can adjust your contract. And if you want to go from the micro wedding to one of our more elaborate packages, our golden package is probably the most popular that we offer. Still very price conscious, but we offer a little bit more. And it's happened plenty of times where you start off with one thing, and then a couple months later, oops,
It's
we we
double.
we
Yes, I
we,
know.
we doubled our size, and we need more. It's like, okay, let's do it. Let's rework
That's
this.
nice. Yeah.
Yes.
It actually happened last year where we had a bride and groom who started off with a very sweet, simple luncheon. They just wanted to have a elopement ceremony for about like 20 or 30 people, and then to host a lunch for those same guests. They are members of Basking Ridge Country Club, so obviously willing to work, to have a couple really and truly embrace the country club for a good 3 days.
Love
Because
it.
we hosted their rehearsal dinner the night before, we did the luncheon the day of, we did their ceremony, we did their dinner reception, we
Oh,
did
that's great.
everything. And it was so much fun. And everyone had a blast. It was a really wonderful
Like something out of
collaborative.
Hallmark, like a yeah.
Yeah, it was a wonderful collaborative weekend, because they incorporated golf into the day before. So basically before the rehearsal dinner, they hosted a little mini family golf outing.
Oh, that
Um,
sounds so fun.
and
Yeah.
it was just a lot of fun to see people coming in from out of town and seeing their friends and family embrace their little part of New Jersey,
Mhm.
because they had quite a few people coming in from out of town. And we love that. We love seeing our members, especially, be able to have people come and see what they get to see on a regular basis.
Mhm.
But even clients who are not members, because we are open to the public. You don't have to have membership. You don't have to have sponsorship in order to host an event with us on any scale.
Oh, that's great to
Um,
know. I was going to ask you
yeah,
that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
But
and
how fun is that they can just like, expand their party in like time and people and all they need to do is pick up the phone
that's
and
it.
it's done. That's
Yeah, just
fantastic.
communicate. Let's have a conversation. Let's see, what else can we do to help you enhance your day? What can we do to make your guests feel like they're walking into a really fun, a personal experience? And that's where I actually really love to dive into is, what can we do to make this day feel more like you? And whether that's doing a custom cocktail station, which we are doing for another couple later on this summer. They have a Portuguese background, and so our executive chef, we sat down with him and we came up with a custom paella station, and he's also
Oh,
making house-made chorizo for them.
oh my God. Your food is it's so good. It is
Thank
just so
you.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
our
that's
our our food is phenomenal. I will absolutely give all the
no, it
credit
really is.
to our chef, our executive chef who runs the entire property, our banquet executive chef who runs the kitchen for all of our private events. They work together marvelously. And every single person that is, behind the scenes in the kitchen working so diligently, they knock it out of the park every time.
No, no, your food is great and it's always really inventive and it's beautifully presented. I did a wedding there last year and I got kind of cornered I knew the couple because I had done a wedding for their family before, but I met some people that they knew one for one, and we ended up being like kind of like boxed into a corner near the kitchen where all the hors d'oeuvres. See, if you're an officiant, you know where all the hors d'oeuvres come out.
You know all the
And
good spots.
and I was just kind of like hanging out there, friend. These people ended up talking to me, and like literally every tray that went by, they were like, "Oh, we need to have some of that." It's like, yes, you do. It's really, really good. Like really fun. The hors d'oeuvres are fabulous, and
Thank you.
yeah, it's just great. And then you have that view right like 3 feet away that you can watch while you're
Mhm.
having your cocktails and hors d'oeuvres, and it's
Yep,
really, really
absolutely.
cool.
Luckily, this past Saturday, the wedding that we hosted their reception, they hosted their ceremony offsite at a church. And as I'm walking through cocktail hour, I see it happens very often, especially once golf season's in full swing. Pardon the pun. And I you can see a lot of people. A lot of times it's the guys at cocktail hour, but you'll see plenty of ladies lined up against the windows and they're just watching over the golf course. They're watching the 18th hole. They're watching the first tee box. They're watching the practice putting green far over to the right side. You can see the driving range kind of a little off in the distance, and it's so funny to walk through the space and hear all the little conversations of, oh, that guy's got a good swing, or oh, that was a good
It's fun.
hit,
It's fun.
or
It
oh,
is.
that was a little too far off to the left, or whatever it might be. It's hilarious to me to hear all the little conversations. And people really appreciate kind of getting a little bit of a show
Yeah.
during
Yeah.
cocktail hour and really throughout the evening. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a wonderful spot. It really is.
Yeah.
It's
And
so beautiful.
so many great pictures, so
Yeah.
many great opportunities for pictures.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, got to be a photographer's dream. I want to tell our listeners that we will be, well, first of all, your website, baskingridgecc.com, we will have a link so that listeners can go directly to that as well as to your Instagram site. And you can see all the beautiful pictures. Your website has a lot of information. It has the teaser on it, it has the brochure on it. And if you would like to get in touch with Basking Ridge Country Club, there is you can go right to the request info and fill that
Mhm.
out, or call directly and make an appointment for a tour and to get more
Definitely.
information. And yeah, so great having you on today, Jessica. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies. It was a pleasure chatting.
Yeah, it's great to
Yeah,
have you.
absolutely. For anybody listening, I do also want to mention, of course, that when you visit Basking Ridge Country Club, or ultimately decide to book with us, you have a full team available to you. It's not just myself as the director of private events, but we have Maggie, who is our event coordinator, and she helps detail everything when it comes to all of our events. And then you'll also have the maitre d' the day of to assist in making sure that everything runs smoothly, both in front and back of the house. Our food and beverage director, Keenan, is also fantastic. He gets very involved when it comes to, any specialty requests. Same with our executive chef, of course. So it's really not just, the one person that people will meet with. It's a full team behind them to make
It
sure
is.
that,
Your people are great.
what.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
I
it's to
think
make
that's
sure that
so
everyone gets
important.
exactly what they want.
Yeah, that's so important to know that you have your wedding team. I mean,
Mhm.
right? I
Yeah,
love it.
absolutely. Yeah, because it's not just one person that can pull all of this off. It has to be a really truly a collaborative effort among many, many people. And I think that's what couples tend to forget sometimes, is that they're not in this alone. You have people behind you to make sure that things are going smoothly, and to hopefully help alleviate any stress that comes with the planning process.
No stress in the planning process. Come on, really. It's like all
No.
fabulous.
If only that were true.
Oh yeah, really. No, it's I love being there because you guys are always on top of everything, and it's just as I said, it really does feel like such a warm, welcoming, it's not like wedding number 5 on day number 10.
No.
You really project a sincere interest and investment in other people's events, and that really makes you shine. It really
Thank
does.
you. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Well, excellent. Well, listen, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank you.
ladies. It was wonderful chatting. Celia, I hope to see you very, very soon.
Me
Andrea,
too.
you too. I know you tend to stay more Southern Jersey, but anytime you
Right.
happen to come up our way, I would love to see you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Next time out that way, I will have to check out the country club. It just looks so beautiful
It's
on
really pretty.
your website,
Thank
and Celia speaks so highly of it. And it was so great to get to know you. And thank
Yes,
you for
thank you.
sharing everything about the beautiful Basking Ridge Country Club.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you, ladies.
Have a great day. Thank you. Hope
Thank
to
you.
see you
You
soon.
too. All right, sounds good.
Bye-bye.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Thank you,
Okay,
guys.
bye-bye.
Bye.
You're engaged. That is so great. It's such an exciting time and probably a little bit overwhelming too. We'll try to cut through some of that overwhelmed feeling and help you get back to the joy you both felt when one of you asked that singular question and the other person said yes. You want a unique and amazing ceremony, we know that, and we're here to put that together for you. The process is really simple. How refreshing is that? You've created your love story. We're going to write it, and yes, you will see a script before that day. We tell this great story to your guests. They laugh, they cry, and then they party. Easy, right? And I bet it sounds great. A wonderful personal ceremony that feels just like you and lets your guests feel the warmth and joy of the day. We can create that together. Okay, I cannot promise it'll be as much fun as tasting cakes, but we'll try to come close. So let's talk about how to put your wedding together so at the end everybody's had a great time and you're married. So just reach out to us at NJ Vows Now. We're going to make this all easy and fun. I promise.
This podcast is brought to you by New Jersey wedding officiant Andrea Pertel, owner of For This Joyous Occasion Officiating Services.
And Celia Milton, owner of NJ Vows Now, also New Jersey wedding officiating services. We're up in North Jersey, and Andrea is down in Central and South Jersey. So together we cover the whole state, don't we?
Yes, yes.